Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. So this is the second time that I posted something about this, but I think that this is going to be very big and it's going to affect an awful lot of people and maybe bring them to the brink of starvation. Not that they're not already there. A lot of people in Africa, period, are on the brink of starvation, but this thing is spreading. 360 billion and growing. Locust plague of biblical proportions destroys crops across Middle and East Africa. Now you have to understand how big this is. 360 billion. This is incredible. This is like, what, maybe 500 times the amount of people that are on Earth? 360 billion times 500? That's incredible. And it reads here, what we are witnessing in East Africa and across much of the Middle East right now is hard to believe. 360 billion locusts are eating everything in sight, and UN officials are warning that this plague of biblical proportions could get many times worse over the next several months. Desert locusts can travel up to 93 miles a day, and each adult can consume the equivalent of its own weight in food every 24 hours. Wow. These voracious little creatures are traveling in absolutely colossal swarms that are up to 40 miles wide, and they continue to push into new areas. If urgent action is not taken on a massive scale, millions upon millions of people could soon have next to nothing to eat. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you all know what's going on, around the world. That big thing that no YouTubers are allowed to talk about, or they'll get either demonetized or be given a strike. But I think that this has, this can be maybe just as bad, depending on how much of the food of that nation and other nations these things consume. In fact, the government of Pakistan just declared a national emergency because of these locusts. And it says, a locust plague is wreaking havoc in Pakistan as unprecedented and alarming swarms ravage crops, as shocking videos show millions of the insects swarming through Saudi Arabia. Wow. Pakistan's government declared a national emergency at the weekend after an infestation of desert locusts arrived in eastern Pakistan. In Saudi Arabia, the swarms have been so thick at times that they have completely blocked out the sun, and video footage coming out of that country is getting attention all around the world. But of course, East Africa remains the hardest hit region, and UN officials are warning that a horrible famine could rapidly develop as a result of this plague. The following comes from Scientific American. Locust swarms of biblical proportions are threatening crops across wide swaths of Africa and Southwest Asia, spurring alarm among top international officials. A major concern is famine. The United Nations is warning that mass swarms of desert locusts are endangering food supplies in eastern Africa. In response, officials in Rome mobilized an emergency briefing yesterday in a bid to raise money, noting that the situation has a high potential to devolve into a full-blown crisis. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave the link to this article if you guys want to go and read a little more about it. But I honestly feel that this has the potential of being something very big for a couple of reasons. Number one, because right now, the world isn't really concentrating on this. Now, if you guys remember me reading earlier here, they say that this swarm is a swarm of 360 billion locusts. And somewhere in the article it states that this swarm can grow to as much as 500 times larger than it is today by June or July. Now, I can't even do that number in my head, multiplying 360 billion by 500. Most of the people that it's affecting right now is in Africa and in Pakistan and some in Saudi Arabia. But ladies and gentlemen, if this worm grows to the magnitude in which they're saying that it has the potential to grow, I mean, I can see it affecting half of the world. And that's just my opinion, my thoughts. But I think this is something that we ought to definitely keep track of, because Africa right now, they import about 1/3 of the food that they need. And as I've stated before, we have what is a world market, meaning that if a farmer here in the United States or a wholesaler, I'm not sure exactly how the chain works here in the US from farm to the store to the table, right? But if a wholesaler here in the United States is selling corn and he can get 3 times the amount for the price that he's selling for by selling to Africa instead of selling it to wholesalers or producers here in the United States, who do you think he's going to sell it to? That's right. He's going to sell it to whoever is paying him or her the most for that bushel of corn. So if Africa all of a sudden starts going into a situation where they need to import even more, that import, those extra imports that they're doing is coming out of somewhere in the world, meaning that it's going to put pressure on that, whatever it is that they're importing more of, making the price of that go up. That's why I always preach, prep today so that you can eat tomorrow at today's prices. Because we just can't know what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Prepping is because you think something may happen in the future that would affect whatever it is that you're prepping for, be it food, be it fuel, be it protection, whatever, right? So prep on, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be afraid of spending a couple extra dollars if you have it laying around on food, because the worst that can happen is that you can eat it tomorrow at the prices that you paid for it today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so this is intended to be a short video. I'm not going to carry on. I was going to put up another video today, but I thought that this was pretty important. So we'll talk to you later. I hope you guys are having a good day. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper. I'm out.